Welcome back to the Prosperous Life Podcast, everyone. So excited to have you guys. Today's special. We brought on Isabelle Kaul.
What up, y'all?
And not only has she been successful from a very young age, but she gone through a lot that's driven her. And that's really shown her in the results is she's only 18, been on her own since 17 with her ZMD detailing. Mm-hmm. And off camera, on camera, you're an extraordinary person. So I'm excited to have you on.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah. So 17 to 18 and winning at such a young age. I know for me, a lot of people told me I couldn't be a life coach at 22, 21 because of the credibility. Mm-hmm. I'm sure a lot of people have told you no. Would you agree with that?
100%. I don't know if it's necessarily the credibility, but I've had a lot of barriers. So when I started my company at 17, I felt like the entire system was against me because at 17, I didn't have a FICO score, which surprisingly is very important in today's world. So I didn't have a FICO score. I couldn't get my LLCs formed or business registration because I wasn't 18. Just a lot of bumps in the road, but I've found creative solutions to overcome them. So straight out of high school, to combat the not having a FICO score, not being able to get funding for my company, I applied for grants. So I applied for a mini Shark Tank that my school is holding for $500. And then I also applied for the Women's Entrepreneurial Conference of Utah, and I was awarded $2,500. So I placed third out of like 120 business owners in Utah.
Wow. And
so that's, like there's always like a creative solution, even when you can't quite see that.
So I would say 99% of people don't see that creative perspective. What made you see that?
Too many people just like accept their fate. You're told no, and be like, oh shoot, like I tried, Me, like I am so freaking stubborn. I'm like, I will get my way. Like I know people. I don't even know that I know the people right now, but I will know the people that are going to help me get through this. And I guess it's just like I guess I'm just built different. I don't know.
Well, that's cool. And so do you think it's the creativity or do you think it's the stubbornness that drives you the most? Or do you think it's a combination of them both?
It's probably a combination of both. Because being stubborn leads to being told no a lot, but then that causes you to have to create creative solutions. Does that make sense?
Okay, I love that. But it's also, like you said, you're not just accepting your fate.
Yeah.
You're not, oh, they told me no.
Like, that's the end of the rope. Guess I can't start this company. No, if I did that, like, I would not have everything that I have today.
Of course. So you went through a lot as a child to high school. Do you feel like that drove you?
100%.
I love that. So do you feel like you're inspired to help transform your family in some form or fashion?
100%. My family is awesome and, I love them to death, and some of the stuff that I do scares them. A lot of the scarcity mentality is ingrained in my family, and I grew up around that a lot. And I just want to show them that there's a better way. Like, even though the stuff that I'm doing right now scares the shit out of them, like, I'm like, just watch, like, give me a couple years and I will retire you guys. I want you to be happy. Money should never be an issue.
I agree with that. So on that point, money, a lot of people struggle with money.
Yeah.
Most people watching this will struggle with money. Entrepreneurs struggle with money.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle with that relationship. How do you feel like you got over that?
I mean, I'm not any expert and I'm not a financial consultant. People always say that.
Yeah.
I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor in any way, shape, or form. And I'm still learning because I'm so young. But I do think your relationship with money is so, so important. Money is not good or bad.
I agree with that.
Money is just a magnifier. If you're a bad person, it's going to magnify what you do times 10 because money is power.
Yeah.
Money buys freedom, If you're a good person, it magnifies the good that you do. So I think your relationship with that is so money. And so money. Whoa.
So money.
So important. It is money. Yeah. So many people get that backwards. And if you're intentional with money, in your business and any part of your life, you're like, this amount of money is going to serve this purpose. I think that that's super important.
And that brings me back to, like we were talking, people get told no. In my mind, and as I always say, the questions that you ask yourself is the quality of questions that you ask yourself determines the quality of life that you live. If you just begin to ask yourself questions, your brain will begin to look for these answers.
100%.
And even if you don't know the answer yet, that's okay. Consciously fill the answer.
And then that leads into your subconscious. It'll find opportunities for you.
Exactly.
The law of attraction, right?
Exactly.
We're not hippies on here, I swear. It's real. It's real.
And that's the thing, because a lot of people are asking the wrong questions. What if I'm poor like my parents? And then your brain's going to go and go and go. And it's going to go to the worst case scenario.
Yeah. Change the narrative, right? You're the one holding the pen to your story. I saw that somewhere. I don't know where it was, but you can literally rewrite your story. Ask yourself, what if I become very successful? What if I don't fail? Change the narrative.
Exactly. And again, your brain will find the answers. Just start to ask.
100%.
Ask for the sell, whether it's in detailing or in life. Ask God for the sell. Ask God for the money. Ask God for the blessings. Ask God for good people.
Yeah. And God's been a huge part of my journey. I mean, I feel like everything that I've been able to achieve and everything that I have is because of him. I am so lucky. Like, I work my ass off there's like a quote that one of my really good friends says. He's like, work like everything depends on you, pray like everything depends on God. That's so true.
I agree with that.
We're 100%. So lucky to
percent
have all the opportunities that we do.
But luck comes with hard work.
It does.
Luck comes with being
new
persistent.
Opportunities come from working hard.
Being persistent.
Everybody, exactly. That's the thing. People, I see so many of my friends start companies, and as soon as things get hard, they'll run back to the 9-to-5 that's safe. But is your 9-to-5 really safe? Depending on the government, being in that corporate world, is that really safe?
Well,
because I think that I am safe. Like, I would rather depend on me to make my money than go work for somebody else. But if you can, that's where I was going with that. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're not interrupting me. I'm interrupting you. You're good.
No, I'm just like, if you can just like stick with it with one thing and not start like 5 different companies, keep your focus with one. You'll be so successful.
I agree with that. And here's the thing. In Utah, any employer, can fire you without stipulation.
Is that like not a thing in other states?
Some states have to actually have reasons. Utah does not.
Really?
Have to have a reason to
fire.
Some companies will keep it safe still, 3 strikes, you're out. But any company can let you go at any time.
Yeah.
With no reason.
Yeah. See, it just goes to prove that your 9-to-5 is not safe. Go start your own company. The world needs more entrepreneurs. We need more leaders. Dan Fleischman, he's on his way to be a billionaire if he's not already, but he creates so many jobs. And by having that money and that power and that knowledge, you're able to literally control like our political system. You can have like a say.
Yeah. Because you have so much influence on the economy.
Right.
Entrepreneurship literally is one of the pillars for a strong economy. Because
the world needs more of that.
Exactly.
We're lacking leaders.
And sure, I think not everybody's bred to be an entrepreneur either.
That's so true.
So I think if you are called to be an entrepreneur, if you're called to do something bigger, don't let small-minded people take you away from that.
100%.
If you can answer this one question, am I truly happy in my 9-to-5? Am I truly satisfied? Am I truly fulfilled? Mm-hmm. Am I truly making the difference I want to make in this world? Am I truly my authentic self in my 9-to-5? And you are truly like saying yes, yes, yes to all those, fine.
Yeah.
But if you're called to something bigger and you know that and only you can lie to yourself, Nobody will know, but you'll know.
You'll know. You'll be on your deathbed regretting that you just did everything that you were supposed to do.
Exactly.
Everyone told you to do. That's my biggest fear.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that was like 5 or 6 questions. I don't think that was one.
I was thinking of that as I was saying. I was thinking, I'm like, there's no way that you can encompass that in one question.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of questions to ask yourself around
There's
that.
a lot of follow-up questions that go along with that.
Because like my thought is on my life vision board, I will be a billionaire. That is, I want to be the B.
Non-negotiable, right?
Means I need to have a team. I don't want the team members I want leaders. I want essentially an entrepreneur spirit, but I have to want them to be authentically happy within my company.
Exactly. You want a really good friend of mine, Joy Wu, told me this. You have to build your empire so big that other people's can fit under it.
Exactly. And personally, if somebody is under me and they want to be an entrepreneur and business owner, I'd rather them be building by me and not below me. And that's just the fact of the matter. There's light to go around for everybody.
100%. Yeah, I'm just going back to the fact that where you were saying not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur. That's so true. I think Trump said that in one of his briefings or something. Some people are meant to be workers, and that's totally fine because as much as the world needs entrepreneurship and leaders, we need workers too. And there's no shame in that. If you're okay making $100,000 a year, $50,000 a year, and you're happy, run with it.
Exactly.
Why are you going to let someone else's dream dictate yours?
Exactly. And even as an entrepreneur, make sure the money is obviously nice and it will come. It's a part of the journey, but build a company that you love. I know there's a lot of black and white around this and gray area, but personally, like coaching for me, I knew I wanted to be a coach at 16. No questions asked. So I think it's personally my destiny in order to fulfill that role.
Yeah.
I feel like I've called, truthfully, I've tried to get out sometimes.
Of coaching?
Okay. Like I've stopped doing it for like 2 weeks. Started researching the other companies that I want to start in my future.
Why is that? Because you got burnt out?
Kind of like I was talking earlier. There's sometimes and I'm better about it now. I want to highlight, I don't compare now. I look to people. I don't look up to people.
Yeah. So
I look at them as a roadmap more than a destination.
Yeah. You look at what they did to accomplish
their
XYZ,
success
right?
habits. Yep. Yeah. I would look at them, and most people that are coaches and successfully in it have built a company and then transitioned into being a coach.
Right.
Most coaches haven't been a coach transformed into a business.
Right.
The one person that's the biggest is Tony Robbins, and he's practically mastered every bit of life and business that you can.
Yeah.
But I think that also thrives him. And this is what inspired me to keep going. No questions asked. Because if I understand psychology more than anybody else, I can outbeat anybody.
100%. If you really focus in for one thing and you become a master at that, they're going to go to you.
Exactly.
They're going to leave whatever they're at to come to the master, right? Who was I listening to earlier that said that? Was it Elena? No, it was Alex Mosey's wife.
There's 3 pillars of I know what you're saying. There's 3 pillars of a successful entrepreneur. 1, he believes he can build bigger shit than anybody else. Confidently and egotistically, I do think that.
100%. That's me right there.
2, they have anxiety for the future as well. In other words, they can be the hardest working person in the room and they'll still ask themselves why they don't work hard enough.
Yeah. If they're doing enough, right?
Exactly. And 3, they are hyper focused. So
relentless, ruthless.
Like they have acquisitions.com. And initially they knew that this was a long-term strategy. This wasn't make a lot of money up front. This was a business to make a lot of money in the future. that's how I relay it from coaching to another business.
Right.
Coaching is a more future growth thing.
Right.
You are looking to build a lot of trust, clarity for people, put a lot of content out in order to sell subscription
Right.
over sell a t-shirt.
Yeah. Like instead of having 1 million within 6 months, you're getting 100 million within 10 years.
Yeah.
Not so much more worth it.
Correct. But that's the key. Most people
Well, it's an instant gratification, right?
Yeah. You know the study where they put the kids in the marshmallows and they say, if you don't touch the marshmallow, we'll come back in 10 minutes and give you 2. They followed those kids and the ones that were okay with delayed gratification are winning more in life still to this day.
Really? I wonder what their definition of winning in life is. I'm curious.
See, I think that's different for everyone.
I think it's different for everybody. That's why I'm curious.
And truthfully, I think there are wrong answers for that. If you're okay being poor, that's a wrong answer. God believes that everybody can be wealthy.
It says it in the Bible. Exactly. Everyone is supposed to build wealth on this earth.
So yes, there is wrong questions asked and there's wrong answers.
Yeah.
If you have a good answer and a good question asked, you know you're the one.
Yeah.
You just need, again, that comes back to authenticity. Are you okay making $100,000? That might be your winning. To some people, that's a lot. That's like $1 to them. And to some people, that's average. I personally don't want to be average.
I'm not average.
And that's where creative solutions come in. And for anybody that is happy being in a 9-to-5, still ask yourself the questions as if you were an entrepreneur. If you want to be in a 9-to-5 job, you feel secure, you like the benefits, you like the health insurance and all that, amazing. Like
nothing wrong with that.
Pat on the back as long as you're authentic about it. But still ask yourself the same questions. How can I become wealthy within my 9-to-5?
Right.
If you're making $100,000 and you're investing 20%, you will still be wealthy by the time you retire. You might not retire at 40 like some entrepreneurs, but you could retire at 60.
Comfortable life.
And you could have 5 million, 10 million in the bank if you invest it right. So maybe instead of focusing on building a business, you just say, hey, how can I take the money I make from my 9-to-5 to make me rich?
Yeah.
And then you go invest that money effectively. You go build a real estate portfolio.
100%. And in the entrepreneur space, I feel like there's a whole stigma around, oh no, 9-to-5s are so bad. If you're happy there. If you're happy there and you feel okay being there, why are you getting shamed for that?
Yeah. I agree with that.
Goes back to the delayed gratification thing, right? With the marshmallows.
Yeah.
Stuff your marshmallows away, guys. You'll have millions by the time you retire.
That's the thing is I think everybody can be a millionaire, but also I don't think $1 million is a lot of money nowadays.
It's not. Doesn't it take like, have you seen that thing where in order to raise a kid, it's like $1 million?
Yeah.
To raise them. Isn't that crazy? It's like, yeah, it's not that much. You'll spend more than that in your lifetime.
Well, you break
most people.
It's a numbers game. $1 million. If you're spending $50,000 a year, which is really easy to do nowadays, 20 years. So if you retire at 40, you got to go back to work at 60.
Yeah.
If you're 60, you retire with $1 million. You're done at 80. Obviously, that's with no growth of the money, but
it's not a lot of money.
Most people are going to live way past 80 nowadays.
100%. Yeah. But personally for me, I don't see why there's any reason why you should work up the corporate ladder for more than half of your life and then have 20 years to retire.
I agree with that.
As a personal decision, not even decision, like I don't know, I'm like on a mission to prove to people that it's not that hard. I see all these people, you know, I don't want to throw out names, but like all these like public figures and whatnot, they're living their dream life within their 40s, their 30s, 40s. I'm like, I can do it in my 20s. There's no reason I shouldn't. I'm so young. Time is on my side, but it isn't. It is, but it isn't. I just have that head start.
I feel that. So a question for you is, do you want to retire? I
want to be financially free. There's people have different definitions of that. I want to live and have the means to retire by the time I'm 25, but I'll never stop, helping people or doing something. It's just not like me. I can't just do nothing. I don't feel fulfilled doing nothing. The ultimate goal for me is not the money. The money is a bonus and an enabler. It's a magnifier. I want to help people. There is so much pain in the world, and I want to do something about it.
I love that. So let's take it back to your beginning.
Okay.
The stress you went through. Mm-hmm. You were, I forget the name, autoimmune disease.
Oh, diagnosed with alopecia areata. Yes, so it's an autoimmune disease brought on by stress. It's genetic. It causes you to lose your hair. Yep. So
are you overcome that now?
When I went through that hard time and all that trauma, I lost half of my hair, which for a girl, for a guy, yes, it's detrimental and it's hard. But for a girl, that's your identity. Not for all girls. I'm not speaking for every girl. You're beautiful without your hair, Yeah. But for me, that was a huge, hurt, I was dang, my hair is so thin. I had to cover up. I had to do my hair a certain way. Otherwise you could see part of it showing. I had to quit my favorite sport in high school because of it. So I wrestled for 2 years. I had to give that up. There was a lot of sacrifice and it was an internal battle. I was really finding that internal beauty without the hair,
Totally. That would have been hard. I'm sure that drives you now though.
100%. And I'm so grateful for my hair now. It's growing back. Let's see if we can show you guys on the video. You guys see that? I don't know if you can see it. Look at that growth.
Oh yeah,
Isn't
wow.
that crazy? Yeah, so
That's
it's just
awesome.
kind of all over my hair, but you just you can see it sometimes. Hard to see without a mirror.
So creative solutions. You've won and you're only 18. Like you said, you have a team. I'm only 23. You just got 5 more years.
Don't get me wrong. I have accomplished so much and I'm so proud of myself because I've lived every day it's my last. And I've taken this whole entrepreneur thing so serious and I've gotten results so quickly because of it. But I haven't even scratched the surface. I only have been serious with my company since May. I started it at 17, but I didn't have all the time to put into it because I was still in high school. And I had all those bottlenecks, didn't have the FICO score. I didn't have business registration. I couldn't get insurance.
Yeah.
So I really consider myself serious with it since May, which is so crazy. Because how many months has it been? 6 since May?
6 end of this month.
Yeah. It's only been 6 months and I'm already, not to be egotistical, but I'm one of the top detailers in Utah.
It's amazing. So do you have, for them listening, and they're like, you know what? I'm stubborn. I will do anything. I'll be told no. Doesn't matter how many times. I'm going to get what I want. But somebody doesn't have the ability to be creative to solve their problems.
Well, it comes back to you don't know what you don't know, right? Because there's some solutions out there that you don't know. That's why network is so important. Is that where you're going with that?
I was going to ask, what is your process in order to overcome the problems that you don't know how to solve on your own?
My thing is, I don't even know why, but I've always had the mentality of I will find somebody to help me solve this problem. And I always do. I always find a way around it. So just keep that mindset. I know that sometimes it feels impossible and there's no solution around it, but I promise you, keep with it. And there's always a way around it.
I love that. So your mind is your network.
Mm-hmm. And I'm persistent with it too. If I have to go to the mayor or the president to get an issue solved, I will find a way to talk to the president or the mayor or whoever I need to. And I'm so confident in that.
Somebody watching this is like, okay, I'm wanting to start a detail company, or I wanting to be a coach, or I want to start a clothing company, whatever it is. And they don't have any friends in this journey that we're on.
Right.
What would you tell them to do? How do they build their network?
I was there too once. I mean, just start with building the relationships in your family. Every single person that you meet has a network. When you meet somebody, you're introduced to their entire network, everybody they've ever met. Like, that is so valuable. Start with the people close to you. Build your way up. There's networking events you can go to. You know, you can join coaching groups. You can join networking groups specifically. There's so many things you can do.
So let's say you met me at a networking event. Would your goal be to add value to me, or would the goal be to ask them to solve your problems? I hold your answer.
I always want to meet people, and I'm genuine with that. I don't expect anything in return. And I feel like that helps me solve my problems. I don't ever go up to somebody with like strings attached or like, oh, buy from my company. Or, you know, like I genuinely want to get to know people and see if I can add value to their life in any way.
Even though I have your solution.
Yes and no, because you have to get to know the person to know that they have the solution. If you come off being like, hey, like to a stranger, it's going to be weird. Like, hey, like I'm having problems getting insurance. Do you know anybody? They're like, I don't care about you. Like, I don't even know you. And it comes off a little bit egotistical and entitled.
Okay.
And you don't want to come off that way.
So you see them as a person. Hey, I want to get to know you for you, and I want to get to know you for you on how I can add value to you.
Oh, yeah. And for sure, like voice your problems. If you know, the only way to get what you want is to knock.
Yeah.
Knock on the door.
Ask.
Put it on. So, yeah, ask and ye shall receive, right? Like, that's like all you can do. Like, if I have a problem, put it on Instagram. Hit up my mentors. Hit up my friends. Hit up people in that industry. You know, you have a huge network, even right now. People in high school are your network. People from elementary are your network. Middle school, the grocery store, the gas station. You're around people all the time.
I love that. So you mentioned you have access to anybody else's network. Somebody watching this is very determined. Let's say they're in an industry that they need to get to know people. How do you get to somebody else's network?
You're only one person away from the person that you want to meet. You just have to ask. Build the relationship first, and that will all like fall into place.
And then
once you build a relationship,
introduce me to somebody that you feel I can add value to.
Yeah, do like a favor without any strings attached. Do something at cost. I had this conversation with one of my good friends last night. Do things at cost and let them know that, hey, I'm not charging you the full price. I'm doing this at cost. And then they'll owe you one, right? He told me this story about a guy that built a multi-million-dollar hotel for $33,000 because he did that for 15 years. He did favors for people at cost. And then when it came time for him to build his hotel, he built it for $33,000. A multi-million-dollar hotel.
That's amazing.
Like, that is so valuable. Be strategic.
And I think that taking it back to entrepreneurship in 9 to 5, I don't care if you're in 9 to 5. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur. Your network determines everything.
100%.
If your tech's huge. So let's just say you're in tech. Mm-hmm. You're working for Microsoft.
Right.
What if you're building connections in Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and I don't know any other. I know a lot of companies, but you get the point.
Tech. Yes.
What happens when a job comes up and you're making $200,000 a year and a job comes up for $300,000 and you know somebody that tells you about the job and now you just made another $100,000 next year.
Yep. Everything is networking. It doesn't even just apply to money. Go for everything.
No, exactly. And also just the value to your life. One of the biggest wins in my life personally is getting married at 19 to somebody that I love. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
That is a huge win, especially in our culture, our day and age, right?
Exactly. And we're still going strong at, 4, almost 5 years later. Not almost, but.
Heck yeah, congrats. That's awesome.
That's a win. And it's your relationships. And yeah, definitely when you get married, it's nice because there is some financial benefits. But I'd never think of it that way. No. I'm not like, hey, let's get married.
You can get FAFSA.
It can go the other way. It can either be financially beneficial or you get a divorce and you're toast.
You have to split your empire, right? You're splitting your $50,000 a year.
Pretty much. So
yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of
pros and cons.
You're trusting a lot.
Yeah, it is.
But honestly.
Do you sign a prenup?
I did not know. But I was also so young that I barely had, you know, I had assets and I had assets and I had income, but there wasn't, you know, 100,000 to worry about but in my opinion, if I wasn't married and I was getting married now, I would definitely 100% sign up.
100%.
It's not
People
out of
don't
not
get that.
loving
I'm like,
person.
I don't think that's like a attack on you. I think that's a personal protection. Because even when you're married, I feel like you should still have like your own money in your own bank accounts.
If somebody, this is the way I look at boundaries. If I set a boundary with you or somebody else, and I'm not saying you when I say you, but
setting a boundary right here, guys, right on the podcast.
That's what it sounded like. So I just wanted to clarify.
It's like building a wall.
Exactly. If I set a boundary and somebody gets mad about it, it just clarifies that the boundary needed to be set.
Yeah. So
if I say, hey, let's get a prenup, to me, that's their insecurity about our relationship. I'm willing to sign a prenup because I'm confident that we're going to stay together. Mm-hmm. All you're doing is saying, hey, what we've built up to this point is mine no matter what. Mm-hmm. Whatever we built after this is ours.
Yeah.
So if you have $1 million and then you build 2 million together, you still have 1.5.
Shows their true intention, right? Yeah, I don't see why that should ever be a problem. But I mean, leave it down in the comments, guys.
Exactly.
Do they have comments on podcasts? They should.
If you share it on Instagram.
Did you put it on YouTube?
I put it on YouTube, so yeah.
Yeah, put it in the comments, guys. What do you think?
So that's a lot of people disagree with prenups. I agree with them.
I agree with them. 100%. My philosophy, and a lot of people disagree with this, and it's not literal. I got to be a millionaire before I meet my billionaire. Because I want to meet somebody that is doing more than me. Because that's so hard to find, right? At my age, a lot of people can't keep up with what I'm doing. Because I'm crazy. I'm literally like, it's not even like egotistical. It's just like I hustle different. And so I want to find somebody that has done that like times 10.
You have a big life vision.
I need someone
which you want to
back
accomplish.
That. Yeah.
And you're showing up 100% every day in order to make that accomplished. Yep. But you're enjoying the journey. Mm-hmm. There's a quote. If you guys want this book, seriously get it. I would also wrote no.
Oh.
Yeah, go get my book. And I would recommend this book to anyone. So simple, but it's so pure. It's The Boy, the Fox, and the Mole.
Okay.
The Boy, the Fox, the Mole, something. Anyways, you look at it, one saying up, I guarantee you'll find it. But it says something, and a lot of people say this, but the person that enjoys walking the journey the most will get farther than the person that's caught up with the destination. And I think seeing your passion, that's what allows you to hustle differently. Because most people are caught up with the destination.
Yeah. Because what are you going to do if you don't have the skills that you need to get to that destination? Then you get there and you're like, oh, cool. What now?
Yeah.
Like, oh, am I supposed to be happy now? Are all my problems solved? Did that breakup and that heartache just go away? Is my family issues solved? Like, no, like it's about the journey.
And I always say you need to become more in order to achieve more. So if you're in your 9 to 5 and you know you want to get out, well, who are you becoming? And I believe that's the first question you should ask. Right. Who do I need to become in order to be an entrepreneur that doesn't rely on a 9 to 5?
So true. You have to do what it takes.
Answer that question. Then you ask yourself a follow-up. What do I want to accomplish in life? You create your life vision. And then you show up today as if you are that person. Mm-hmm. And if you've already achieved everything that you've wanted to. So let's take it back. I truly want to impact a minimum. And I'm saying minimum because the world's out there, 1 million people. I want to be able to track 1 million people's life change based upon me. Yeah. Not like, oh, I have that Instagram follower. I changed their life. I want to tie my impact to that person.
And 1 million is like not that many people.
No, not at all.
Just like $1 million isn't that much.
And I show up every damn day as if I've already accomplished that. That allows me to walk into the grocery store and ask myself, who am I going to impact in this grocery store? that allows me to get on my Instagram lives and say, who am I going to impact today? Sometimes I get on live and honestly, nobody joins. Out of 3,000 followers, it's nothing big. That's fine. I show up as if somebody is watching. I show up as if 1 million people are on that live. Mm-hmm. If I schedule a speech or anything and nobody's there, generally people are there, obviously. But I show up as if there is 1 million people watching me.
Because there's always somebody watching you.
Exactly.
Everything that you do, they're watching your every single move. So if you're not ready in that moment, then you've lost an opportunity. If you don't show up ready to meet people and to receive an opportunity, you've already lost. You've already lost your opportunity. And
that goes back to luck. If you're showing up 100% every day, your chances of winning and getting lucky are so much greater.
Oh, it's like impossible to lose.
Luck if you are persistent. Thing, sure. But if you walk into Walmart and you meet a billionaire and you're ready to start a company and then you pitch the business there and you get that deal, well, if you weren't showing up 100%, you would have never became lucky.
Mm-hmm. And if you didn't put in the work that you did prior by showing up every day, then you wouldn't be able to take that opportunity.
Exactly.
It's true. It's true. One of the people that I listen to a lot, his name is Grant Mitt. He's on Fox News a lot. He talks about like crypto and whatnot. He's like a self-made millionaire. He's in his 20s. He's like one of my favorite people ever. His podcast is amazing. Go listen to it. It's called The Grant Mitt Show.
Grant Mitt Show.
He talks about how he did one episode where he really stressed the importance of like the appearance and how you show up, like what you show up in, what you're dressed in, what effort do you put into showing up? Because imagine you meet that billionaire in Walmart and you're in pajamas. It's like, oh, you're probably not going to network with that billionaire, are you?
Well, it's the confidence too. How do you feel when
you could make like $1 million deal with that billionaire in pajamas. I mean, it's true. But I think that you attract more people by showing up.
If you're presenting yourself. If you're, like you said, if you're in pajamas, your hair's messy, and you see the billionaire or that person you followed for long, how confident are you going to be to say, hey, can I talk to you just for a moment?
Yeah, 100%.
But if you, like you said, show up, you're confident, shoulders back, you know that if you go talk to him, you're going to be stubborn to not get the no.
Yeah, you have that 1 million people watching you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you have that confidence behind you, then no way you can fail. No way. I don't believe it.
I ask myself regularly, how would I show up if I already won in life? If I already had the result, how would I show up today?
Mm-hmm. How would you act? How would you treat people?
Most people that treat people wrongly aren't winning in life.
I don't know. It's so crazy because the world's such a dark place. And it's sad because money-wise, there's very wealthy people that are so bad. Like, think about sex trafficking. Some of the most wealthy companies are the ones that control that. It's dark, huh?
It's disgustingly dark.
Doesn't that make you just like want to like make a ton of money? Like, it's not even about the money for me. Money's amazing, and yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, I do want to go to Bora Bora and but like, it's about the impact. That is what is so fulfilling to me. I do this thing where I just like go and buy a ton of roses and I give them to people. I did it the other day. We went to the hospital. It was like, I don't even know what the word I'm thinking of. It was hard. I was drained by the end of it because it's so sad. There's so much pain in the world. And I feel like flowers is such a small thing that I can do to like brighten someone's day, when the whole time I'm like, man, I wish I had enough money to just like pay these people's medical bills. Like, what if you could take that stress off of somebody? I want to be the one to put in the work and to have money never be an issue, to have so much of it that you can literally help people. You can buy people homes. You can, help solve poverty and world hunger. That's what Dan Fleischman does. That's his mission, there's no reason that people should be hungry.
Okay, Dan Fleischman, that sounds familiar. He's local here to Utah, right?
I don't think he lives here.
He networks with Sean Wallen, The Muscle.
Yep.
Aaron.
Yes. Everybody.
Okay.
All of them.
He owns that
Elevator Night
or that card shop. Coffee and something.
I don't know exactly what he owns.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, but that's exactly like what he does. And like, I want to do that like times 10. I want to be that company that gives people hope, that goes after the sex traffickers. Because they can't do that when you don't have money. You see all these rescues of all these girls and stuff. It's so heartwarming. It is. But you think of what a small impact that is compared to like what a big issue it is. That doesn't solve the problem.
Well, it's Underground Railroad. The differences they made, one gives me the goosebumps just talking about this, and the people that run that are amazing. Blessings.
Oh, Tim Ballard. That's the main one that I know.
Tim Ballard, he's the owner.
Yeah, he's
CEO. His story is amazing. He adopted 2 kids on one of his missions. Have you heard that story?
I don't know. I want to meet him. I haven't heard his whole
My
story,
brother met him the other day.
Really?
He was holding the first Bible that came over on the Mayflower. It's here in Utah.
Serious?
You can go see it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'll give the museum. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know what it is. You're Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. Me and my wife want to go see that. So maybe we can.
Yeah. Let's totally do
that.
Be down with that.
Anyways, Tim Ballard's amazing, but he always says, sure, we've saved thousands of people, but there's millions of people to be saved. And I think that's what's important is just when you
acknowledge that.
Walmart or just going on a video or going on a hike, ask yourself, who can I serve? Mm-hmm. Because if you're just looking to serve them and adding value to them and getting to know them, sure, in some roundabout way, as the world always works, it is going to come back to you. Mm-hmm. But it's doing that with no expectation.
100%.
The world would be a better place.
It would. Dude, that's why Trump was always saying, guys, I love Trump. I miss Trump. 2024, baby.
2024. I agree with
like, he said, like, what we can do now to help our country be stronger, start at home. Strengthen your families. That's so true. That is literally could solve so many problems. You see the homeless on the street? They have a family. And that's such a hard issue because a lot of them are mental. They have all these problems. If you have a really strong family and you can take care of each other, even when crazy stuff like that happens, because I've experienced mental illness firsthand. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard.
Check on your people.
Check on your people. People are meant to be happy. They're meant to grow.
I agree with that.
Life is hard.
You have to deliberately show up every day, like you've talked, in my belief, spiritually. Whatever religion, belief you are, or even if you don't believe in anything, you need to focus on something greater than yourself.
100%.
Mentally, physically.
100%.
Bringing it back to the family, you need to prepare financially. Mm-hmm. You need to prepare with your materials. You need to prepare businesses, having multiple sources of income. You need to essentially build your own personal economy.
You do. I like that. You really do.
Don't allow this state, to the world,
the government,
to the country determine your personal economy. Mm-hmm. Even though there's a recession. Have you heard the taco story?
The taco? No, I haven't.
I say taco story because that's what I refer to it as. There was an immigrant family.
Okay.
The immigrant family came to America, mm-hmm. and this is probably way off from the story, but it's great.
Let's hear the taco story.
The dad started a hot dog stand.
Okay.
Super successful that he actually started starting other hot dog stands around the state, doing very well for himself. Made so much money, he sent his son to Harvard, and his Harvard son got a business degree or economics, something like this. And I really don't know if this is a true or fake story, but it's awesome.
He's like making this up as we go. It's not even a real story.
And there's a recession that takes place. And the college degree son comes home and says, Dad, why are you selling these hot dogs? We're in a recession.
Who's going to buy your hot dogs?
And the dad went from multiple hot dog stands doing really well from and he said, you're right, I shouldn't be buying these hot dogs, to only losing and going back down to one hot dog stand.
Interesting.
Why? Just because everybody's in a recession doesn't mean you and your family have to be in a recession.
Whoa, that was powerful.
Check on your people and get your shit together. Get your family in a place that you don't have to rely on anyone else but yourself.
Yeah. That's
Which,
deep.
couple of things in my belief, financially, land, guns, entrepreneurship, multiple streams of income, your relationships, like just literally go do your research on government and take those principles and put
Copy
them
and
into
paste
your
it,
own.
right? And I don't think family is always blood.
I agree with that.
Like, I think that you should incorporate, your friends or people that you take in under your wing into your little ecosystem.
I agree with that.
I think that's how it should be. People should have each other's back.
I agree with that. Well, why does it need to be blood? How can the most valuable relationship be marriage, not be blood?
Right.
Why can't that be with friends? Why can't that be with a business partner? Why can't that be with coworkers at work?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, you're not obligated to blood at all.
No, not at all.
We're going into the holidays. That creepy uncle of yours that
Yeah. You get the heebie-jeebies, you get kind of weird feeling around him.
You're not obligated to go sit and talk with him for an hour.
Not at all.
That's
You're not obligated to do anything. Do what the hell you want.
If somebody walks up to you that you don't like and they try to talk to you and shake your hand, you are not obligated to shake their hand even if they give you your hand.
This is so random, but it reminded me of this. Like, sometimes when people, I think people are awesome. Like, I'll meet somebody and they're super cool, but then I never get back to them. And I used to feel really guilty about it. But now I've come to the conclusion that there's a reason why I'm not feeling called to get back to them. And then later I find out something that they did or something they said about me. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
It's like, if I don't feel called to do something, I don't. And I stopped apologizing for it.
Being unapologetically you and you're being okay with you.
It's like part of my intuition. It's so weird because I struggle personally with discernment, and I'm such a people pleaser. Even when it will take out of my cup, even if I'm giving the shirt off my back.
Do you know what an empath is?
Yeah.
I would greatly consider you an empath.
Yeah.
100%. I'm sure you do as well.
100%. Yeah. And it's probably because of the way that I was raised and, things that I went through. I kind of see things that people overlook.
Yeah.
I can see the glaze in someone's eyes when, they had a horrible night, they didn't sleep, their parents were fighting. They're going through something horrible. I see it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where it comes from. But I'm working on not people pleasing so much because it started to affect my relationships.
That, and it takes away from you in life. Yes. From my experience of this, obviously,
100%. No, I agree with you.
But business or sales, in my belief, it's I don't want to make them mad.
Yeah, I don't want to make them mad.
I want to make sure they're happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel this way, but I'll just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Just speak.
I don't have enough money to pay for this, but I'll do it since everyone else is going.
Yeah. It's just speak. You're not responsible for anybody else's emotions.
100%.
So thoughts create emotions. Emotions create behaviors. Behaviors create results. Mm-hmm. 4 steps to a very complex psychology, obviously. But language goes along with your thoughts. So you think something, you speak something. If you think something and you speak something, that'll create you emotion, but it'll create somebody else's emotion. The way they take it and create their own emotion is not your responsibility.
True. Yeah, how they react isn't on you, right?
Let's say I tell somebody I love them, genuinely. Not as a weird love,
I love you. I really love you.
My homie, Tanner, he's one of my high school friends, brothers. We don't see each other often.
Shout out to Tanner.
But he will always be a brother. Mm-hmm. Not blood. He will always be a brother. I love him. He loves me. I know that.
He loves you.
But let's just say that the first time I was like, hey, I love you, bro. Uh-huh. He could have taken that weirdly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, oh,
That would have been
like,
his responsibility, though.
he's like, this dude's married.
Gratefully, he took it. Was like, I love
Yeah.
you too, man.
Oh.
You know, like, obviously it was my choice or his choice, whatever, to say that, but you're not responsible. You need to speak your truth.
It's true.
Tell people how you feel. If you feel like somebody's struggling, let's say I was at Menchie's the other day, and there's somebody that was just sitting alone, and he seemed really sad. This is a true story. And I was with my wife and my sister, and I was like, that guy just seems really sad. And I was like, let's go check on him. They were like, oh no. Anyways, I went up and I was like, hey, you seem really sad. Are you okay? And the guy got really offended. Not my responsibility. I walked away smiling, knowing that I checked on somebody. And maybe after that,
then you're not going to feel guilty for not checking on him.
I would have felt guilty walking away. Just speak your truth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. The worst they can do is say that you suck and they hate you and go kill yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you can walk away knowing, hey, I knew I didn't have money for that, and that's going to allow me to do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. Or I know that person seemed sad, and I said something, and maybe that stopped him from that being his last Menchie's trip. And went and
he never went back again.
Well, like, you just never know what happens.
Oh,
after.
It's so true. And even when we were giving out roses, there was people at the hospital that didn't even accept them.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They're like, no, I don't need it. Give it to somebody else. And I got a little hurt. I was like, oh, my rose? Oh, my flowers? Like,
you don't want my rose?
It kind of hurt my feelings. Yeah, wow. But I mean, you never know why someone doesn't want something. I'll tell a story. So we were giving out roses. We went to the hospital. We were going to like gas stations, grocery store. Because like people are struggling everywhere. It's not just at the hospital. It's everywhere. Anyways, we made the executive decision to go to the hospital and give out flowers. One of the most impactful experiences that I've ever had. We ran into these ladies. They were like in a rush. They were literally like pulling in. We're like, well, they weren't like in a total rush. Otherwise we wouldn't have stopped them. But we're like, hey, we don't know your story or why we're here right now, but I want you to have these flowers. We gave them. There was 2 women. They started bawling. And then another one comes up. She starts bawling. They give us like the most embracing hugs. And like you could just like feel the pain. Like I didn't even know what they were going through, but you could like feel. Yeah. And then they're like, my daughter's the one that got hit with the pickup truck. Did you hear about that story in Springville? A girl got hit by a pickup truck going to school. She's 17 years old, a wrestler. I was a wrestler, so it's like I found out this after. Anyways, yeah. So they're like, our daughter's the one that got hit with the pickup truck this morning. She's on life support right now. I'm like I didn't even know how to react. I'm like, whoa, like.
Did she end up passing away? That's so
after, because me and my coworker did this. She sent me the story and it said she passed away. And I'm like, whoa, that hurts. I didn't even know her, but like one, she's a wrestler. That's like, I was a wrestler, you know, I could have even wrestled her. I don't even know. And one, we met her family. And third of all, I did not mean to be that part of someone's story. Like I had no idea that I was going to be that part of someone's story. The one that gives them roses right before their daughter dies. Like, what? That hurts so bad. But I'm like, you never know. Like maybe we were meant to be there, you know?
Maybe. I would say so.
Maybe it gave them some like kind of closure. I don't know. Maybe it made it worse. I hope not.
You will be forever a part of that story, and you will be forever a part of a story told.
Yeah.
Like, hey, remember that one time that we were at that store before so-and-so passed away, and those girls came up and gave us flowers? That was so sweet. Yeah,
there was another woman. We were at the gas station. We gave her a whole bouquet of flowers because I spent so much money on flowers. I'm like, I just love doing this. Like the world needs more of this. Like, why shouldn't someone get some flowers? Like, even guys, not even just girls.
I love flowers.
Like,
are you kidding?
literally.
When my wife gets me flowers, I'm all over it.
Dang, yeah, you put them in a vase, you like feed them, you take care of them and shit. Like, seriously, why do guys never get flowers until they die? Until something horrible happens, Or why do
Just kidding.
Like, why don't strangers just get flowers? Like, I love that. And you never know what someone's going through. So we're at this gas station. We give her a bouquet of flowers, and she starts bawling. We had so many people cry on us. It was like crazy. And after she stopped crying, my coworker came back to the car because I was hiding, right? Because we do it individually. The lady comes back, and she's bawling again. She's like, "I'm like so grateful. Like, you have no idea. Like, that meant so much." And she's like, "Things always show up when you need them to." I'm like, holy cow. Like, I don't even know your story. Like, this is like crazy seeing that. And I wish she didn't come up to the car, because then she saw all the other flowers that we were giving away. And I was like, we're giving these other people too. But it was so impactful. And there's so many people like that.
I love that.
But it's almost a little draining. I couldn't figure out like why I felt so drained. I think it was just that energy, being around so much pain. It's hard.
Yeah, you feel people's emotions, which is exhausting.
Yeah. Like, it was a good thing, but like I had to go home and sleep after. I was like so just like drained. I don't know. Me and my coworker both were. And
that's a good thing, right? It's good to feel people's emotions. Obviously, it's good to protect yourselves in some form or fashion, but it's a good thing to recognize somebody's sadness, and that's ultimately why you're there, to hopefully cheer them up.
Yeah, and there's so much of that.
You're going to a hospital not expecting to see smiles. You're expecting to see sad faces or crying. Yeah. And by you gifting them a flower bouquet.
Energy exchange, right?
Yeah. I love that. So, question for you. Do you believe in destiny?
Elaborate.
So for me, like, for anybody on camera, like if you're on a mountain and you're at the base, to me, I believe that there is a top.
Oh, like the best version of yourself.
For essentially what you do and who you become. Okay. I do believe that there's multiple ways up the mountain.
Yes.
But I do ultimately believe there's a destiny for who you become and what you do. When I say what you do, I ultimately think the impact that you make in this world. So I think that there's certain struggles that I will go through and have gone through that I've been called to go through or will go through in order to make an impact, whether that's on a stranger at Walmart or on a worldly scale, like my coaching.
Right. No, I don't know if I'd call it destiny. There's a lot of definitions of destiny. I think there is a best version of yourself that, like, imagine you don't put in the work. You don't do what you were not meant to do. You don't do what you could have done. And then you meet that person when you pass away, right?
Like your twin or your mirror self.
Yes, but in the best form. Physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. And you're like, dang, that's who I could have been. That's the impact I could have had. You see like this whole movie of things what your life could have looked like if you put in the work. Like, yeah, I totally believe that there's a version of yourself like that.
I would agree.
But I like what you said about there's different ways to get up the mountain. It's not just one, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not God. Like, maybe there is just like one journey you're supposed to go on. But again, we have agency, right?
We do have agency.
Do you think that we can change our own destiny? Destiny, quote unquote. I'm doing quotes if you're listening.
The only way I think you can change your destiny, I don't think you can change your destiny. I think you can choose not to achieve your destiny.
Okay.
Again, not doing the work, so you die, your time comes, you go to the other side and you see somebody and that's your best version of yourself. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be twins where you're like mirror self or are you going to be complete strangers? Because it's going to be one of the two. I know the value of people I like hanging out with, and anything below that, I don't like hanging out with.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't want my twin self to not want to hang out with me.
Oh, that was powerful. Yeah.
So I don't think we can change our destiny. I just think we can choose not to achieve it.
What about like beating the odds? So for me, I've thought about this a lot. Being born a woman in India is the most least fortunate things that can happen to anybody. What if you beat the odds?
Clarify.
Like you're born in this horrible situation. You're abused. You're beaten. You're maybe addicted to something. And from like a outside standpoint, you shouldn't have achieved what you did. You shouldn't have became a millionaire, been a success story. But you did. You beat the odds. Do you think that's changing your destiny? Or is that just becoming who you're supposed to become?
So my true belief is that we will never become what we're capable of becoming, because there's always more growth to achieve. There's always another book to read. Mm-hmm. There's always something more to learn.
There is.
I'm very confident that I know more coaching than practically everybody I meet, except probably Tony Robbins and some of those main people that I strive to grow into. Not be, but strive to grow into. Mm-hmm. For you, I'm sure there's some auto detailing people that you're like, oh, I want to be at their level.
100%.
Or whatever. Mm-hmm. So to me, if I was playing God, which I can't, and somebody was going through that, I think God would believe in them to get through that. So I think their destiny is to get through that.
Well, you ever just think about how all this plays out sometimes? How everything plays out? Like, where do I end up?
That's why the past makes so much sense. I think it tied everything together.
Like, oh, that's why I went through that.
And that's why you need to take your life by hand in your own terms and say, you know what, this is what I want to achieve. This is who I want to become. And I'm going to do everything each day to get to this point. And again, to clarify, goals you're not always going to achieve. Your vision you're not always going to hit. That's the misconception. Mm-hmm. A goal isn't meant to be hit all the time. The goal is a direction.
It is a direction. Oh my, that's fire. That was so good.
So as long as you have this direction, you'll always be walking. Because
your goals are always changing, right?
Yeah.
The kind of life that your dream life at 7 years old is going to be completely different when you're 15, when you're 25, when you're 30. It's always changing.
Exactly.
So I love that. It almost comes down to like a surrender to God,
Exactly.
Like you do everything in your power with what you can do with your opportunities. You work hard, but it is a surrender.
I agree with that.
You have, what I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And leave everything up to him. I had a come to Jesus moment. This last week. I had a...
Do you want to tell us about it?
Okay, so I can't tell you guys what it was exactly, but I'll paint the picture. I had this decision to make. It was a really big decision. Dictates business, it can be personal, like really big decision. I don't want to call out the person, but I had so many people telling me, oh yes, this is a really good idea. It's so valuable. You're going to love this decision. And then I had tons of people telling me, this is the worst decision of your life. Why would you do that? This is literally going to bite you in the butt. So I told you, I have problems, not problems. One of my weaknesses is not even seeing through people, being decisive.
You have a vibe, you see a vibe in somebody and you trust yourself.
Yes, but also being decisive and not people pleasing. And so, I struggle with that. And so when I have so many people telling me one thing and telling me this thing, then it just puts me at whoa, what do I even, I don't even know what to think. So I was so stressed. This was happening for weeks. I'm like, okay, I just need to shut everybody out. I am going to surrender this to God. Is there a squirrel over there or something?
I thought I heard something.
Yeah, I heard something too. Anyways, there's something watching us through the window. I had this moment and I was like, I came to the conclusion that I just need to surrender. I'm like, okay, this is in God's hand. I have my patriarchal blessing, or you know what that is? Yeah. So in my patriarchal blessing, it says that I'll never need to make a wrong decision if I take the time to listen to the Spirit and study the scriptures. Take time to just like, be intentional and listen to my intuition and everything. So I did. I went to the gym to clear my head. And then after I sat down, I read my scriptures, and then I prayed. Like I was on my knees praying so hard. I'm like, Heavenly Father, I just need this answer. And in exchange, I'll do this. So I made a little contract, right? I got my answer, and it was the right decision. That was my come to Jesus moment this week. And so now I have to share all my journeys, my testimony and everything. Because beforehand, I was in this kind of funk where I was like I believe in God because I've had way too many miracles in my life that he's not real. Like he's for sure. But I was like, I wasn't really focusing on my relationship with him. I was kind of like, I don't know, complacent. Wasn't putting energy into it. So here I am.
So now it's a relationship. You talk to him as a friend.
Yes.
He's there every day.
But it's so much
by your side.
Like it's so different than what they teach you like in church, because for me, it's so personal. Your relationship with God comes down to you and him, not you, him, and the bishop. Not that the bishop's bad, but ultimately it's between you and him. Like he knows you best. People aren't perfect.
I could keep going. This is great.
100%.
We're going to have you on again.
Yes. It turned into kind of a religious, like.
Well, we talked about so much. We networking to business to entrepreneurship to God to life. This has been a very holistic podcast.
Yeah, are these how they normally go?
Every conversation goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
The best conversations.
Is that kind of like you said, when you meet somebody, you don't have an agenda. You don't have strings attached. When I have a podcast, I believe in God 100%. I personally pray every single time before I go on a podcast because I trust that and a conversation will be guided in a way that everybody else needs to hear.
These are my people right here. I feel like I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at the screen. Do you cut your podcast? Or
yeah. We'll cut it out and edit it. But I just trust. I feel like putting too much agenda in allows not for the flow and for what God wants me to say.
100%. Yeah. I actually prayed right before this. I'm like, inspire me with what the world needs to hear,
So with that in mind, how can I and how can they serve you?
Follow me on Instagram. I'd love to talk to you guys. I want to connect. I want to be friends.
I love that. I really want to acknowledge you. One, for yourself. You are an empath.
Thank you.
And when I say empath, what I mean by that is you feel each other's motions, but I love that you're authentically you in that so that you can serve the world with what you hold.
Thank you.
And two, you're a go-getter. So keep making big things happen and keep making an impact. That's huge.
Oh, I will. I'm just getting started.
Hey, we're just scratching the surface.
We haven't even scratched the surface yet. I don't say that to discount
what you've done.
What I've done, because I'm proud of myself.
Again, there's 3 pillars. You believe that you can make bigger things happen. I'm sure you have some anxiety just as I do, and you're focused. But whenever you achieve something, you celebrate it. When you lose, you recognize it, but you keep moving on no matter what.
Heck yeah. Only going up, baby.
So there's one question that I ask all my guests.
Okay.
What's your definition of a prosperous life?
Kind of like what my definition of success is.
Yeah, I consider prosperous a very holistic viewpoint.
Okay.
So yes, success would be very correlated to that.
I think achieving all of my goals and achieving everything that I wanted to do in this life. And I think that is what I consider success. being proud of everything that you've done and the impact that you've had. You know?
I absolutely love that.
So I want that same feeling on my deathbed. I'm not done yet. I haven't helped as many people as I want to. Yeah.
That's fair to say.
I haven't helped enough people.
I love that. Do you have anything else to say to them?
Keep hustling, guys. Go get that dream life you want.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much again. And truly, if you know somebody that's striving to, build a business or build their career or going through a hard time, please share this with them. Yeah. Anybody can learn from Isabelle 100%.
Thank you.
With that in mind, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
See ya.